Us at Demos. We stand in awe of DeJana and her woke vote army. We are proud to honor Dejuana Thompson with our Transforming America Award.
Good evening, everyone. I bring you greetings from a reimagined South. It is such an honor to be here tonight with you all. Demos, thank you so much for this award, Transforming America. I've really been thinking about what this means, particularly as a young girl from Birmingham, Alabama. My mother is here with me. Would you please acknowledge Janice Thompson? Thank you. I think it's incredibly important to acknowledge my mother because it speaks to what we knew we had to do in the work of organizing Alabama. We knew that Black women and Black men could rewrite history in December of 2017. We knew that in 2016 when someone told me that Jeffrey Beauregard Sessions was gonna become the Attorney General of the United States. I looked at people and I said, well, great, but we now have a real opportunity to do something special in Alabama. Yes. And people laughed at me. They literally said, DeJana, we've known you. You've been doing organizing work for years. You worked on different presidential campaigns, and you turned out Black and brown voters all over the South. You worked in New Jersey. You turned out Black and brown voters in New Jersey. And we know that you're from Alabama, and you got your start in municipal government in Alabama, in Birmingham. And we know your father is still a pastor in the city of Birmingham. We know all of that. And we love your passion, but this is Alabama and this is America. That's what they told us. And I looked them directly in the face and I said, that's your America. I know what we can do in Alabama, and we did it.
We live? Yeah. Strick City. Woo! Strick City. All over the world. City. Man, we live. Yo. Strick City on the ride. Yo. Look like surprise. Yo. Taking your city like we live. Yo. Man, we live. Yo. Taking your city like surprise. Yo. On the ride. Yo. Strick City coming live.
Oh, we are live. Your boy DJ Strick. We're right here live with you. And I have a phenomenal guest today. And man, I'm so excited about this. You know, ain't nothing like calling your friends and you say, hey, I got this new venture going on, and we're interviewing people on Facebook. We're interviewing people, and it's going live on YouTube. It's going live on Periscope, which is Twitter. And I just want people to know what I know about you. And I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this young lady, but I am so excited that she's willing to share a little time with us today and to help me actually introduce this young lady and start our show off. Y'all know my girl, A-Lo. I got her online with me today. What's up, A-Lo?
Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl A-Lo. What's up? How y'all doing, y'all? I am so excited about this show today, y'all. So excited. I mean, I'm excited about all the shows, but I'm excited about this one today.
Hey, this is going to be really cool. You know, when I thought about doing a live show like this, we said we would have guests. And when we started to write down the list of guests that we wanted to have, you know, we was like, hey, we know some really cool, powerful people.
Yeah, I
Some
do.
dope people. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is amazing. Like if I could just call the folks that I know to be on my show, man, this Strick City Live thing would be really, really cool. I wanted to do this with gospel jams, like Sunday mornings on jams, but some of the content didn't always apply. But with
Yeah.
Strick City
True.
Live, guess what? We get to talk about everything. And
Yeah.
so if you can help me, we got a couple of rules. We want to tell people what they need to do as we get started today with today's show.
Okay, people, it is very simple. This is not your first time you guys have seen us live, but for the newcomers, let me repeat myself. Share this video, post your Cash App. It's that simple. Share this video, post your Cash App. And at the end of this video, we will pick one lucky winner to get a little blessing in your Cash App. It's that simple, y'all. Share this video. And you're going to want to share this video. I know we're going to have a lot of good information that's going to be vital for everyone. So share, 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 share. Post your Cash App. And at the end of the video, somebody, maybe you, can get a little blessing.
That's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to help a little people. If you help me out, you help us out, I'll help you out. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do,
baby. Let's work together.
so yeah, just do this together, right? It's a team effort.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
Yeah,
Hey, what do you think? I got a little jazzed up for today's show.
I noticed.
Pulled
that.
out my
Look at you looking a
blazer
little
for today's show.
I ain't get the memo.
Yeah, I said, hey, we got this big timer on. Let's make sure we represent. I couldn't put on a tie, but I thought about it. Hey, so without further ado, we've been sharing this for a couple of days now, and it's definitely an honor to have this young lady be a part of Strick City Live. We've known her for a while, working her way up through the political stance or platform, and she has done it all. She's at the top of the mountain right now, and she's right out of Birmingham, Alabama. So without further ado, can y'all please put your hands together right now, like everybody clap for DeJana Thompson. Hey, girl.
Hey.
All right.
What's going on? Huh? What's going on? Hey, it's
you
so
got fresh for us tonight. I appreciate
listen. Did I impress you at all? Huh? Did I impress you? I put a
you.
blazer on.
It's impressive.
I even took a shower before I did this.
You what?
I said I even took a shower before I did this.
Oh
Like,
my! God is
I
in
know,
the blessing
right?
business
I know,
tonight.
right? Got all cleaned up. Listen, first of all, I said this already, but we're so happy that you could actually be with us today. This is an honor to have you on. The work that you put into the nation, I can't even say Birmingham. Birmingham is just a little part of what you've been doing through your companies and your endeavors. And we're so excited about discussing it, allowing some of our audience to know about you even more, and what they don't know today, they will know. You are a powerful young lady. And again, thank you so very much for your time.
And I'm so honored to be here. It's like a nostalgic moment too. I feel like I just went back a couple of years.
I know, right?
And we on the radio station downtown.
Downtown.
Awesome. Yes.
And this is, technology has moved so that a lot of the things that it took a big media company to do, all it takes is a computer and a camera right now, and you could be all over the world.
That's true. But quality, that's what I'm concerned about. I can't do it. So I'm glad you're doing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because everybody can't take just a computer and a mic. Because I'm happy that my screen is just clear. That's a blessed assurance.
That's what's up. I do understand. We got people watching today. Big shouts out to my man Snipe. And I want to get right into it. DeJana, people may not know, and I think that it's appropriate for me to call you a political strategist with several companies under your belt. But how did you actually get started into politics and working behind the scenes for politicians?
Man, that is a loaded question. I've been thinking about it all day. Actually, I started organizing in high school. I just didn't know that that was a transferable skill set, right? A talent that you can get paid for. But I was always about bringing people together, figuring out how to get people what they need, shake stuff up a little bit. And it was actually Judge Carol Smitherman who in high school told me, something is in you. You need to keep being this leader. You need to keep organizing. And she told me when I graduated college, she would give me my first job at City Hall. And not only did she give me my first job, by the time I graduated, she had just become the council president. And so I was able to leave college on one day and go directly to City Hall and become her executive engagement director for her office for the city of Birmingham at 22 years old. It's crazy.
Wow,
So
that was your actual start.
Like that. Yeah. I'm sorry?
That was your actual start. That's your first job you started with.
That was my first job.
Wow.
Literally organizing communities on behalf of policies that was going on in the city of Birmingham. And through that opportunity, I was able to get some training from the legendary Harry Belafonte. He actually started a program. That was 2005 when I started at the city. In 2006, he launched a program called The Gathering. And it was specifically around organizing young people of color and their power and teaching them the strategies from the movement so that they could be powerful for their generation. And I'll never forget, he told us, he said, we got you your freedom, but we didn't teach you the strategy. And so at 78 years old, he was like, I got to teach strategy. And that's how it started for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I didn't know that it actually started with Carol Smitherman, and definitely for you to just drop a name like Harry Belafonte, I mean, that's an excellent way to start. Two people that have done, one that's done great jobs for Birmingham and the other one that was a part of the movement for all of us. That's incredible. Yeah. So I do want to get to this. Hey, I know you got a couple of questions for her as well.
Yes, I got them. So in 2007, when you were asked to help plan a visit for a young senator, did you have any idea at the time that then Senator Barack Obama was going to be the first African American president of our country? Did you have any idea how big that was at the moment? Or was it just, you just tell me about that girl? Because I couldn't imagine. The man has Denzel qualities to me. I think if you walked into the room, I think I would just be like,
with all respect to Michelle, because she don't play either, but
right.
And all respect to my husband because he don't play with girl. Yes.
And her top Netflix film that's out right now is beautiful if you haven't seen it. But what I knew about him, because I met him in 2007 through that, he was doing a series of small fundraisers where he was going out and trying to introduce himself to people to give them an idea of what his platform was going to be, right? This is before he had security detail. It was so like low key and grassroots. And I just remember that the very first time I met him, quite frankly, even though I had worked on that program, I wasn't supposed to be allowed in the back room to greet him. That was something for sort of our high level officials and that kind of thing. And I remember him saying, he saw me and he was like, why aren't you going into this room? And I thought, I don't want to be disrespectful to anything, so I'm just going to tell him that's not my place. You know, I'm going to be out here rooting for you in the crowd. And he said to me that day, he said, your place is always in the room. And so he brought us into the room. It was me and a couple other people. And I will never forget that. It was that day that I said, if I can do anything, I was just thinking locally. I didn't know I would be on his campaign, 6 months later in North Carolina. But it was something about him that was so genuine, so raw, so like, I want to be this president for everybody, that it gave me immediately, I felt it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes, girl. Yes. So can you call him and get him on the show next for us?
No, I cannot. No.
Hey, that was a good try. That was definitely a good try.
No, I cannot. I can't.
No.
Girl, no.
Well, that's awesome.
So
go ahead, A.
For those who don't know, you're also the founder of Woke Vote. So please tell me,
Yeah.
what the concept of woke, ooh, girl, that's a tongue twister. Where the concept of woke vote came from? Excuse me.
Right. So I've been at this point, in the year that we're in right now, I've been doing this for about 17 years. And in
Wow.
2016, I was still working for the White House. I was a presidential appointee to the Obama administration. And it was 2016, and, there was a new election, about to happen. Hillary and Trump were on the ticket. And I decided that I was going to leave and go to the Democratic Party to run their national African American engagement for the country. Well, in that experience, I realized a couple of things. One, that people of color, particularly in the South, are still being left out of the conversation around politics, around justice, around resources. And even when you feel like you're in some of those rooms where you can make a difference, if there is no structure, if there is nothing in place really for you to push the needle, if you will, then honestly, you're just the face in the room, right? You're a voice in the room, and that's great. But I didn't want to just be a voice in the room. I wanted to actually try to harness something and produce something for my people. And so I left DC and moved back to Birmingham around the time that I found out that Jeff Sessions was going to become the Attorney General, which means that we had an opportunity for the first time in over 25 years to try to elect somebody progressive as a Democratic senator. Now, people ask me all the time, are you are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? What are you? And I tell people I'm Black, and I'm for what's going to help Black people.
I got you.
And because we have to be like that.
That's right.
Sometimes it may not be the Democrats that are supporting us, right?
Right.
But we need to have righteous leadership. So woke vote was this idea that I knew if I came back home that there were people who cared about their community, organizers who cared about the community, the faith community, Black businesses, Black radio. I knew that if we organized ourselves, we could vote in such a way that it changed the narrative of what was possible in the South. And we did that. We were able to engage 100,000 voters, Black voters, to vote in that election, never saying Doug Jones's name, never saying Wardmore's name. What we said was vote to prove your power, vote to show that we exist so that we can formally be a part of the conversation. And that's what we did. And woke vote came out of that. We built a strategy, we built a model, and people, they wrapped their arms around it. And thank God they're still wrapping their arms around it. So 2017 was our year.
What a movement you had at that time, and still moving. And we talked about Barack Obama, your work that you did with him, Harry Belafonte. But as you started Woke Vote, there were even more celebrities that actually came on board to be a part of that movement. And for people that don't know, you can get a chance to see what one of those celebrities was actually saying and the work that they were putting in on the ground with her.
Hey, what's up, Alabama? This is Don Cheadle, and I am coming to you today as a Woke Vote ambassador for the special election that will be held Tuesday, December 12th. It is very important that you show up this year. It's very important that you show up every year, but especially in this election where the ideals could not be more polarized and where we see how our freedoms and how the things that we hold dear can be threatened, and how our voice can be minimized if we do not show up in numbers, if we do not represent at the polls. So please, each one, reach one, grab a friend, shake them awake and say, come on, get woke. We got a woke vote. I'm going to give you a number, all right? Woke vote, you can text that to 228.
He's giving out a number, but wow, like Don Cheadle, a part of Woke Vote? Yeah. Like, I remember when it happened, and I was just blown away by the movement. Because if you want to do something, DeJana, if you really want to make an impact, you have to go all out. You have to go all out. And I saw you putting in some major league work. Tell us about how that came about.
Man, all of it is really, I just have to say it's really ordained. And I think as long as we got a statement that says if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right?
Come on now. That's
so
right.
So we were more so concerned about making sure that whatever we were building, it was something that people would want to grab hold to. And to give him some credit, Roland Martin found out about what we were doing, and he did the first sort of interview with us nationally about our work.
I remember that.
And when he did that, Don Cheadle saw that show.
Wow.
Literally called Roland Martin and said, "I want to help. What's going on in Birmingham? I love what they're doing. Can I get her number?" And I kid y'all not, this man called me on my personal cell phone at 6 a.m. One day. He was on set somewhere. I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning wherever he was, but it was 6 o'clock where I was. And so imagine someone calls your phone. First of all, I'm not a morning person. Let's get that first and straight.
Right.
So,
right.
I was just thankful I even answered the phone, because I'd be in the third heaven. Okay. So my phone rings and I look at the phone like California. And so I answered the phone and he was like, "Hey, this is Don. May I speak to DeJana?" Now my dad's name is Don. So I'm like, "Daddy, why are you playing at 6 o'clock in the morning? And why you sound like that?" And he was like, I said, "Okay." And he said, "Don Cheadle?" And I said, I sat straight up in the bed like, "Mr. Cheadle."
Wow.
What is this speech? I sat straight up. And he was like, "Look, this is so important. This, what you guys are doing in Alabama." He was like, if y'all don't win this, I don't know what we're going to do. Like, we got to have a win, like whatever I can do. And he, he was true to his word. Not only did he send us videos, not only did he went live at many of our events that we did, but he ended up coming to Alabama the next year during Classic and being the Classic ambassador, and helping us. I think we registered over 5,000 people that in one day with him coming in. So he's still, rocking with us. He's one of our ambassadors this year, and we're just grateful that the message, impacted him like that, and he's been with us ever since.
So did that also start like maybe a snowball effect with Hollywood eye on you? Because he was just one of the people that actually came forth to kind of lend support. Was there other people, celebrities that you can say, "Hey, well, this person came in, that person came in"?
Yeah, we had Tamar Braxton, we had Lecrae, we had people like Dr. Jamal Bryant,
wow.
We had Erica Campbell from Mary.
Wow.
And you have to understand, some of our relationships we had because we were also building at the time something called the Black Church Pack. And if you haven't had a chance, you should really look into that. It's a political home for Black people of faith who want to get a little bit more aggressive about how we build political power. But through the building and that work with that, we've been able to create these relationships with these mainstream major artists and pastors and faith leaders, and give them a place where they can feel comfortable to step outside of their pulpit, but to still do what they need to do politically. And so, but with that relationship, we were able to build so many different things. But I mean, Sarah Silverman, just so many different people, and I hate to miss somebody in the process, but people were calling us left and right, Common, just different people. And so it's just been, we wanted to just make sure that we stayed true to our mission. And I think as long as we were doing that, people felt that it was genuine and worth their time. Listen,
I mean, I have always been so proud of you, but this is what you have done. Because this is just, and I want to say this, for everybody that's watching this, number one, I need you to share this. All right? I need you to go ahead and actually share this. And if you do share it, put your Cash App in. I'll see this later, and we'll come back and we'll pick a winner, a Strick City winner. The reason why we do that, I do need some engagement, but people need to know about people like DeJana Thompson. They need to know about her work. They need to know who she is. Listen, she is already known, but sometimes some of us get stuck on a rock or something and we miss it. Don't miss an opportunity, because I know that a lot of the work is done around election time, because that's when we get excited. But because those things are coming up, guess what? It's people like DeJana that are leading the charges for all of us. So again, take the time to share this. Let me listen, I've done too much talking. If you want to know more about what she has done and how she's galvanized and actually taken Hollywood has saw what she's doing and wanted to be a part, I want you to check this out.
I'm meeting Crystal, DeJana, Valerie, Tyler, and their ringleader, DeJuana of Woke Vote, a group organizing the vote here in Alabama. You know, it does seem like a lot of you got involved because you're friends with DeJuana or DeJuana got you involved. Crystal, Valerie, blink twice if you want out.
Y'all better hold your eyes together. I know those eyes better not move.
So tell me everything.
Well, you know, I think a big part of Woke Vote came out of this idea that people were taking too long to service our community. We know what needs to happen to motivate folks in our community to get out and vote, to get involved. And when someone said, it's a possibility that Jeffrey Borgard Sessions is gonna get nominated, I was like, I think we could win this crazy Senate race in Alabama. I know it sounds crazy. I mean, literally, I thought about it that quickly. I was like, we could do this. Like, this is an opportunity.
That's the kind of thinking that changes the world.
Yeah.
You know, like.
We didn't talk about candidates. We never said Roy Moore or Doug Jones. What we also knew is that people honestly didn't care about, they cared enough to not want Roy Moore, but they didn't really know who Doug Jones was.
It's just like asking a 4-year-old, like, what do you want for dinner? And then they're like, it doesn't matter. And then the mom brings a plate of broccoli and cauliflower, and they're like, but I don't want that. But you had the opportunity to say what you wanted.
That's right.
And it's the same thing with, like, politics. When you don't go vote, that's your voice. Then you get stuck with whoever you're stuck with.
And it wasn't the first time we've done this. I think that was the part, Sarah, that's frustrating, is that everybody was like, oh my God, Black people voted.
Yeah, Black women have been doing this already for years. We need you, obviously. What is like the bat signal for the Black women's voter bloc?
You know how your mother would give you that look and she wouldn't have to say a word?
It is a side
but
eye.
you knew exactly what she meant.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if it would be an eye, like a side eye or something.
Like, you know you in the wrong, you know better. No smirk, no nothing.
Right, that's it.
Listen, that was so cool. That was so cool. Sarah Silverman is actually a comedian, and she's got a show about America. And for her to come in, like, how did that call happen?
And, you know, that's one of my favorite stories. And it really speaks to even sort of what we're talking about tonight, is that you don't really know who's watching, right? But one of her writers for her show is a Black woman from California who writes on Dear White People, right?
Okay.
And she saw the work that we were doing and brought it to Sarah's attention maybe a year before we ever even met Sarah. And so Sarah actually had been following our work for months and was like, I got to get them on my show. So when they reached out to us, she already knew everything about what we were doing. She was like, I want to come there. I want to talk to you guys. I want to find out about what Woke Vote is doing, what you're going to do next. And she wanted it to be a part of her conversation around what is happening in America. But it started because there was this dope Black sister who was writing for her who didn't, who made room for us. And that story is important to me because it's one thing, again, for us to be in the room, but when we make room for other people, that's how we all win. And that sister is, we're cool with her to this day. We're cool with Sarah to this day. But I was honored that she thought enough about the work that we were doing to bring it to her boss. And then Sarah thought enough about it to put it on her show. And she got an Emmy nomination for the show. So we're really excited about that.
Are you for real?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So,
Also helping from making this not just in Birmingham, not just in Alabama, but also in Florida. You guys helped get Amendment 4 passed, which restored the right to vote for ex-felons. Girl, when I saw that, first of all, the fact that they couldn't even vote, like, it's a lot of stuff that you don't know that's going on out there. That's another reason why I just commend you for wanting to know what's happening out there and for wanting to make a difference. There's a lot of people who just sit back and don't do anything. but you're actually active in the community. And I'm just like, girl, I applaud you.
Thank you.
I applaud you in the work that you're doing because it's tremendous. Like, it's amazing. It's incredible. But anyway, so you're also, I just want to shout that out there. But also you work for Think Rubik's. Could you give us a little information about that?
Yeah. Yeah, so Woke Vote is I tell people it's my child, it's my baby, it's my passion project. It's the thing that keeps me motivated despite everything that's going on in our country. But I also got to make my coin, right? I mean, all of the money that we raise for Woke Vote 97% of that goes back into Black communities. So, but I was telling you all when I left DC and I left the White House, at the time I had two people that I worked with who we all were just fed up with the way in which Black people were being engaged, the way in which our businesses were being under-supported, under-resourced. And we figured that if we could put all of our energy behind helping other people, then we could put that same energy into building our own firm that would center Black and brown issues, center diversity, equity, and inclusion, policies, writing policies that help people of color and marginalized communities. And so we really wanted to talk about the fact that people always want our work, but they don't want to celebrate our brilliance.
Right.
And so our firm Think Rubik because we are thought partners and we specialize in helping people to think through strategies for how they engage people of color, minority communities, marginalized communities, and the like. And so we're excited. We started that literally the year before I started Woke Vote. Give or take. And so, as you can imagine, we were starting a brand new firm. I was starting a brand new organization. But it was great because our missions are so similar. So on the Think Rubik side, I have a partner. His name is Tristan Wilkerson. We have wonderful people who are a part of our team. Shout out to Chris and Deanna and Nia and Theron. We just really appreciate all the work that they do. But we have offices in DC, Arkansas. We're in Oakland, California, Detroit, and then Birmingham. So
no. Listen, DeJana, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. Don't just slide past that. We got offices in not just city, but cities. That is amazing. And I hate to keep saying that, but to know somebody that's doing the work like you are, it is so powerful. So if people are watching this, I want to go through those cities again because they could be a partner in those other cities as well. Can you kind of give us a rundown of those cities one more time?
Right. So the places where we have Think Rubik's spaces are Birmingham, Alabama, Little Rock, Arkansas, Washington, D.C., Oakland, California, and Detroit, Michigan.
That's what's
now, the
up.
interesting thing about Woke Vote is that we have organizations in 12 states. So if you're in all of the southern states, and then we're also in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee, South Carolina, and a little bit of work in Texas.
Wow. So as we're gearing up for another election, what is something that's kind of on your plate like right now to do agenda-wise?
Well, in light of COVID and everything that's been happening with the coronavirus, I think that it has exposed a lot of gaps in how, not really, I hate to say exposed because we know these gaps existed, but it has given a greater platform to showing the disparities and the rate of disparity in the healthcare space for African Americans, in the way in which we receive stimulus, and the way in which we receive resources. And so what we've really been trying to do right now is, I tell people it's really hard to talk to somebody about voting if they're hungry. Right. And so what we're doing is really meeting immediate needs right now. So every week, Woke Vote is feeding the homeless.
Wow.
Every week, we're helping people figure out how to get their stimulus checks. We're about to do a series of mask giveaways and sanitizer giveaways. And in different states that we're working in, we're really talking with our community partners about what are the immediate things that need to happen so that people can live and see the election, right? And we build around those immediate issues. And then that way you're building community and people know that you're not just showing up at the last minute to ask for their vote, right? You're building a relationship. And so that's what we're really focused on. We're also really focused on making sure people know how, vote by mail is going to be really critical this year more than ever. Vote by mail means getting a ballot in the mail, requesting a ballot and then getting it in the mail and then sending it back. A lot of times, most people like to sort of do that in person, right? Do their vote in person. But there's likely going to be a significant impact on the way in which we can vote in November. So vote by mail really is one of the strongest ways that we're going to be able to vote. And there's a stigma around it in communities of color. So we've got a lot of work to do to educate people about why they should vote by mail and what that needs to look like.
I've got it. Now, if you don't know, you may not be seeing it pop up, but in the comments on Facebook, like people are saying how proud they are of you and how awesome you are. And I don't want to just get on the show and be like, oh, you're so great. But sometimes somebody needs to say, hey, you are so great. You are so awesome. Like doing the work. This is the work that we all should be doing. And Woke Vote is making a difference. And it's not just something that's something in Alabama, but you're making a difference all over this country, and that is awesome. I told you that we also want to talk about this Aubrey case in light of how it shows America where we are. Could you kind of explain, like from your position, what this case does, and if it even gives you any fire to kind of do what you do even harder?
Man, we participated in the run for Ahmaud on Friday. We organized a run for him along with organizers from all over the country. We had about 200 and something people show up, which blew my mind, honestly.
Wow.
Considering that we only had less than a day to organize it. But what also blew my mind was how diverse it was. There were Black people, white people, young people, seasoned people, differently abled people, children. It at one point I almost got emotional because I was like, wait a minute, you came out to support what happened to this Black man. Now, and you would think that I shouldn't be, that wouldn't make me emotional, that's the way we should show up for each other as community, whether we are Black or not. If somebody is unjustly, killed, we should show up for each other. But that's not the case. And so what I will say is that what I think is interesting about this particular case with Ahmaud is that he was killed in February, and I think everybody knows we didn't see this video until about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And the blatant disrespect for process, the blatant disrespect for the truth, to try to cover up justice in a way that we haven't really even seen. I mean, they didn't even do that with Mike Brown and Eric Gardner. Like, we saw the videos immediately, right? But the reality is we're tired of seeing videos. We're tired of hashtags. We're tired of having to organize around the killing of Black bodies, and people of color bodies. And how we've had so many people who, even the next day, you had the young man in Indianapolis that got shot by the police. And so I think right now what a lot of people want are plausible ways or legitimate ways to get involved, right? Legitimate ways to show, to move from anger to activism. And I was telling my dad this the other day, and this will be the last thing I say about it, that one of the things that turns, people's hearts a little bit cold is when you see something like that and you have this anger, you have this fear, you have this profound sense of injustice, and then you have nowhere to, nothing to place that in, nothing to wrap, nobody to talk to and feel like you're actually doing something about it. It stays and becomes a callus on your heart. So that's how people become numb. That's how people, feel like there's no hope. And so our job at Woke Vote, Think Rubik's, your job, Strick City, your job, ALO as a mom, all of these different things, our job is to give people the tools and the outlets to move from anger to activism. And that's how we win back our cities, and that's how we keep the hope moving. And ultimately, that's how we try to get better people in these positions who will execute better standards of justice.
Do you think that's one of the things it boils down to is, as we hear more about the story, the father is, have worked in that police department. knows the DA, knows people, has even been in a picture with the governor. I'm hoping I'm saying that right from what I saw. All these things have been reported. And the fact that they already released a video saying, hey, this is the justification was he's in a home that's being built, looking around. Like, are these things what we need to get people to understand more that, hey, if we elect the right people that think like we think or represent us, maybe we won't have these cases to where justice is not done on our behalf.
Right. It's two things, and my dad and I talk about this a lot. I don't believe that we will legislate morality in my time.
I got you.
I don't have time to try to explain to somebody why they shouldn't hate, but I do have time to try to fix broken systems, right? And by what we saw was a miscarriage of justice. We saw a very, in a lot of ways, it's not broken. It's working the way it's supposed to work. But we saw a broken system as it relates to how it impacted Ahmaud. And so, yes, voting is not the only way that we're going to liberate our communities. I tell people all the time, voting is a part of a liberation strategy. It is one part of how we get whole. It's one part of how we organize ourselves. It is not the silver bullet. It's not the be all, but it's a very, very important part. But we can't just vote for president. Right. We have to vote for these district attorneys. We have to vote for these sheriffs. We have to vote for these local elections that actually have more power to impact your daily life and your daily existence than anybody, than what we see sometimes federally. Right. And so what we saw was a line of local leaders and state leaders who executed a miscarriage of justice. And have there been different people in those roles who were committed to justice, whether they were black or white, if there were different people who were committed to justice in those roles, we believe that there would have been some different outcomes, at least in how his case was handled. Hate, though, is something that we got to leave up to God, because, like Martin Luther King said, hate is too much for me to bear. I got to stick with love.
There you go. I like that. And that being said, what I want to do right now is bring on another voice. If you know me, you know Big Prophet. He's always been around as part of what we do. And I want to bring Prophet in now to kind of ask a question. Prophet, how you doing, sir? I got you, man. Prophet, you on? In the building.
Oh, man. The whole team, the whole crew.
My man, Prophet.
I'm just go. What you say, Strick?
It's on you, partner.
Hey, listen, DeJana, I just want to say that I'm extremely proud of you. I'm glad to know greatness, and I'm blessed to know the greatness that God has put in you, and just to see the leaps and bounds that you're taking and the stand that you're taking for not only women, but for, I have to say, the world, because this thing is all over the world. It's Strick City, man.
Right.
Anyway, I'm really humbled by your humility too, and what you're doing. I just pray the blessings of God upon you and all that you do. So my question is, so I'm that guy. Don't throw stones at me, right? I'm that guy that sits back and watches the votes happen and be like, you know what? Whoever they put in there, that vote must need to be in there. So how do you excite a guy like me to push me to the voting? I don't even know what they call it, lines, vote, or whatever.
Polls.
So how do you get to the polls?
Yeah.
How do you get to the polls to vote? And how do I and then after that, how can I support what you're doing? Someone like myself that has a little bit of influence and so forth. How can I better support you as well and become a team player?
Absolutely. Well, first, Prophet, if you was acting like that, I would come and pick you up myself and take you to the polls, and you can figure it out. So we're not even going to give you no option, okay? And honestly, in a lot of our communities, that's how we talk to them. Like, listen, I'm not going to even have this conversation with you. You're going to learn today about voting, and you're going to go and vote. But the reality, though, is that there's so many people who have seen things like Ahmaud's situation, who saw people like George Zimmerman get off, who are even seeing sort of what we feel like is a it is an unjust system right now, even in our White House, right? And so I think, and they feel like that there's nothing that can be done to sort of push back against that. And that's exactly what they want you to feel. They want you to feel powerless. And that's why every single day they're trying to take your vote. They're trying to make you feel like your voice is diminished. And our job is to explain to people before election time why they are important, right? Why their voice is important, to try to get involved with them on those local things. Before we talk about an election cycle, are we feeding the block? Are we giving people jobs? One of my favorite people, he's a strong activist for a long time out of California. He said, nothing stops a bullet like a job, right?
Wow.
Because there are things people need that if you don't help meet those needs, certain things will happen. It's cause and effect. And so my job is, and our organizers, we work to help with those immediate causes, show up and show people that we care about them, and tell them how then the vote aligns with our priorities, how we use the vote strategically to build our blocks, to get the resources for our community. And we also are honest that we're not going to, I promise you, for every person we get in office that's righteous, somebody who probably isn't righteous may get in as well. So we have to continue to do the work, right? I'm just honest about that.
Right.
And I don't sell nobody no nickels, right? It is what it is. We gotta work every single day. And people appreciate the honesty, Strick, Prophet. They appreciate that I'm not selling them a dream, that I'm telling them it's gonna be hard work and that they have a role to play in that work. But in terms of getting involved with us, so many ways you can get involved with us. In terms of Woke Vote, y'all are the first to know. We are actually launching our brand new website tomorrow.
That's what's up.
All right.
Listen, y'all, this is the world exclusive. Our site's been down for quite a bit, trying to get just ready for this next season of Woke Vote. And so tomorrow we're going to be launching. You'll be able to go to our site again. It's wokevote.us. And you can come and we're on every social media platform as Woke Vote or Woke Vote US on Twitter. And then Think Rubik's, my firm, if you're looking to do work around changing systems and that kind of thing on the corporate side, we're Think Rubik's, ThinkRubix.com. We're a team of Black brilliant minds that's getting the work done.
That's
and
awesome.
So I am DeJana everywhere you find me. I am DeJana, DeJana, DeJuana, Twitter, DeJana T, DeJuana, So exciting to be a part of the show tonight. This is awesome.
Listen,
Wow,
you are awesome.
I
And
encourage you guys,
go ahead.
get on her Strick Hush. I encourage you guys to get on her Instagram.
Little sister, big brother. Sorry.
Big Prophet Hush. Okay. I encourage you guys to get on her Woke Vote Instagram and follow that page because it's just a lot of good information. It's like she said earlier, it's not based off any candidate or any party or any whatever. It's just based off of straight up facts. It's a lot of times, there's a lot of things that we don't know about that we're voting on. And one thing that I love seeing on the Woke Vote page is where they actually break down some of these amendments and tell you what you're actually voting for. So you know and make a judgment for yourself. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't heard of Woke Vote, which you have tonight, go follow them. Follow them on every page. Get involved. Vote this November. Vote this November. So yeah.
That's what's up. Now, DeJuana, I want to ask you this. I know you have tons and tons of supporters and people that work with you, and I hope I don't catch you on surprise or by surprise by this, but if you got some people you just want to shout out as part of your team, people you want to say, hey, thank you for your support, not to get you in trouble, but just to say a couple of names.
Man, so many people. I would be remiss if I didn't just talk about how much my family supports the work. My dad, my mom, my brothers. My brother actually does a lot of our videography and those kinds of things. I believe in, communities work, right? Like I'm getting the church involved. I'm getting everybody involved. So I want to thank them. I don't even want to call her my right-hand woman, but the person who organizes with me the hardest is D. Reed. I know y'all know D. Reed.
Of course we know D. Reed.
What up?
conversation for years. She actually helped me start and was at the beginning of Woke Voting, has been by my side ever since. I would be, that woman is incredible and dynamic, and she has supported this work wholeheartedly. There are just so many organizations in the city that we partner with: Be a Blessing Birmingham, Greater Birmingham Ministries, Community Foundation, just so many different groups that, we're thankful for their commitment to justice and commitment to the work. My church family always holds me down. Shout out More Than Conquerors Faith Church. They always hold us down. I'm so scared. There's so many people. My best friend, Christina. But the work really, I'll be honest with you, what's beautiful about Woke Vote and the work that we do is that people take ownership of it. Right. Our students at, UAB, Miles, we're on every HBCU in this state, and then we're in 20 more across the South. Those students believe that Woke Vote is their organization. It's not mine. So shout out to Chad and Cam and Christina and Robin and Christian and all the people who every single day, they are taking the message. And I'm just one person. I couldn't do this by myself. I really reflect thousands of people who care about their community, who care about their schools, who care about their families. They decided to make a difference, and they trust us at Woke Vote to give them a platform to do that. So, and shout out to y'all because for this opportunity, and this is so amazing to me, and I'm honored that you would, make us a part of your conversation.
Well,
DeJana, I need you to say, hold on, Strick. Miss DeJana, I need you to say, Strick City is all over the world.
DeJana,
City, all over the world.
Listen, DeJana, you did not have to say that. You did not have to say that. Listen, I believe in doing the work. I believe in doing the work to get you out there, like following in your footsteps to, do the hard work. Like, people want to be successful. They want to know, hey, how'd you raise all that money to do what you're doing? Guess what? I'm sure it took a lot of hard work to get in front of a lot of people to make those things happen. And I'm so encouraged by the fact that, you haven't allowed small bits of success. Let me say it like that, because sometimes people will be like, hey, I got to my little personal mountain. But what if you are one of those people that can affect the whole world and you're satisfied with Pratt City? Right. We can't just be satisfied with the little when in some of us, there is the nation that we're called to. So, I'm like, really, you're saying thank me. You're thanking me. I'm thanking you for the work that you've done, and then for taking the time to discuss it with us.
Yes.
Because it's these conversations that we're having, DeJana, that I think will make the difference and will make a louder voice for all of us. Because one day, guess what? You will need someone telling the story. Somebody's got to tell the story. So if I can build a platform outside of a big media company, if I can build a platform where people can get their message out, we help each other.
Well, listen, there are people who are doing this kind of work everywhere. The problem is that the stories are not being told. So it is critical. Every movement has been sustained and memorialized through the storytellers, through the narrative builders. And so Black radio has always been a part of movements for justice. But even before that, just telling our story, writing it down so the next person can take it and run with it, it's so incredibly important. We actually launched last year our first international chapter in Ghana, West Africa.
Wow.
And they found out about us because an organization was telling our story over there, right? And they wanted to get organized. And so, I think that there is nothing more important than making sure that we make room for each other. And this is what you're doing with this platform. That's what we try to do every day with Woke Vote and Think Rubik's. And ultimately, this work is about healing our communities and providing space for everybody.
Right. Well, as it goes on, things get more intense as we get closer to election day. If I could be of any assistance, if we could continue to carry the message for you, please allow me to be involved. I want to be involved. The technology of using the internet, we're on Facebook tonight. We're on YouTube tonight. We're on Twitter tonight. And we got some other platforms that we're growing to. And hopefully we can continue to get that engagement, even with people like your friend, like Christina, that chimed in. She finally made a comment hanging out with us tonight. You know what I'm saying? So there are people all over the country that could really use the information that we have. And I want to be of assistance that way.
Yes, for sure. Thank y'all so much.
Alo, you want to wrap it up for us?
Oh, you were doing such a great job, but thank you again, Mr. Moms, for your time. We appreciate you. We don't take it lightly. I mean, I'm just in awe of the woman that you are.
Thank you.
Yes, keep doing it, boo. I'm so proud of you. Keep doing it. I want to ask you another question, but I know we're wrapping up too. I'll ask you in a minute. No, I gotta ask you, girl. Girl, you be fly. What's your favorite store?
You know.
Oh, she's got some style now. I'm like, girl, go get it. Go get it.
Honestly,
Got that full like my wife got.
You know, you can find me anywhere from Anthropologie to the thrift store. If it's something that makes me feel confident as a woman and confident as, a Black woman with curves and all of that, then I will try it. I love supporting Black-owned boutique and businesses. And so I try my best to find, local, boutiques and things like that. I love using people who create, who my favorite person is Sir Algernon out of Atlanta. He's a designer. He creates clothes. So a lot of times he creates for me, and it's a partnership, right? I get to show his work when I wore his dress to the first ball I ever went to at the White House. It was it was a wonderful opportunity for him. It was a great opportunity for me. So listen, you can catch me in the mix from the beauty of the thrift shop. That's what Common said. So, that's where I'm at.
Absolutely love that.
Yes, we be working, honey. Yes. I've been seeing your interviews. Like, she be flying everyone.
Because I'm still trying to get married. You see what I'm saying? So, I got to be flying because I'm doing this work for the Lord, but I'm still trying to get married. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
He's out there. Okay, and one last question. I have to ask. Would you ever run for politics?
Oh, my God.
Office. Would you ever run for office?
If I do believe that if running for office is something that you should do when you feel like you can give your entire self to it and nothing less. And I think I'm still a little selfish right now. There's still some things that I want to accomplish, but at that point where I feel like God is requiring that of me, I will step up. And we'll see from there. We'll see what happens. If He requires it, then I'll do it.
Okay, so this is going to be me making my first prediction. DeJana Thompson is the first female African-American president of the United States of America.
Oh, you gonna go there, huh?
Okay.
You going there.
You got my vote.
You got my vote, too.
No.
Listen, let me say this. DeJana, I remember when I met you, still working, organizing. I think at one point I remember you managing a gospel group out of was it Ohio, Kentucky, or something like that?
Cincinnati.
And I knew then that you were about your business, and it was awesome to experience the work. But you haven't changed through all those years. You're still DeJana, but you have done the work for people to recognize you, and I am just at awe of you. And it's been amazing tonight to talk to you, to know you as a person, the whole nine. The comments, you gotta, like, after this, go watch this and just look at the comments, because people are just going crazy about you. And
they are
I
all
know,
agreeing with me,
right?
President.
I absolutely know that we made the right call when we extended the invitation, and we got tons of people that are coming on to be guests, but sometimes it's good to be validated by your friends that you have a platform that they're willing to spend the time to get on with you. So again, thank you. Okay.
Thank y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Love you, girl. Many blessings to you. Good to see you again.
Hey guys, this has been an awesome night with DeJana and Alo and Big Prophet. Your boy DJ Strick here. Hey, we got more things to come. Thursday night, it goes down all over again. 8 o'clock. I got my girl Ty Scott King. She's a rapper. She's a poet. She's got videos out there. She's in LA right now doing her thing, and I'm gonna have her right here on this show. So please, if you hadn't did anything, please share this, make a comment, and remember to add your Cash App, and we're gonna pick a winner for the Strick City Live. Thank y'all so very much for being a part of this.
We live?
We live.
Yeah.
We did it.
Great job, Juana. Great job.